So I mean, yeah.
That shit started getting like, alright.
But I mean, like I said, after they was in Atlanta for 6 seasons, a whole 6 seasons, and I'm like, damn. After all this time, I thought they left. No, they was just there.
Spread away.
I appreciate y'all.
Spread away. Butterfly.
That's gonna be our theme
The
song.
butterfly.
Spread away.
It's like spread your wings,
Spread your wings.
flap away.
Find your wings. Fly, my young nigga.
Yeah.
Well, as y'all know, or if y'all don't know, and I need to introduce us.
Oh, we recording.
Yeah, this
I
is
hate when you do that.
This is motherfucking, Sam's. Oh, wow. Whoa.
Whoa. What
Whoa.
dimension are you in?
Whoa now.
Well, that's a Sunday. This is
Today-
motherfucking Conscious
today's
Reconstruction
Thursday.
podcast. Motherfucking show. YouTube show. I don't even really know what to call this.
What you
just
mean?
It's a show.
It's a
This is what we
thing.
do.
It's a thing.
It's what we do.
This is what we
Yeah.
do every
It's
Thursday.
whatever the fuck it wants to be on the day that it is.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
question us. It's just Conscious Reconstruction. We're going to talk about some shit. We're going to debate about some shit. Ash going to say some Trump supporting shit. And we're going to debate about that shit. And we're going to keep it moving because we're all family here. And that's how we family do. You argue and then you smoke a blunt and keep it moving.
Get milkshakes. Yay.
Hey, milkshakes are a part of my routine.
I like the way he demands it in the car. Like, I'm going to get a milkshake. I'm coming.
I asked if y'all was coming.
Well, the complaint last time,
Yeah, y'all did
Yeah.
Oh,
complain.
did y'all, everybody went this time?
No.
Oh,
Nah.
They all went knows.
okay.
The fuck did they complain for?
No, there was no complaining.
No.
Oh, clearly there's fucking big dog in the building.
Bit on.
Motherfucking Ash in the building.
Hello.
That's it. That's all they get.
What else? Hey.
That's it. Nothing else.
Oh.
You're not
Say.
doing no more.
Today's gonna be a good day.
No more.
Always. Today we made progress, y'all.
Oh,
All right.
So much more progression.
There's motherfucking
Really?
bitches Jones in the building,
What's up?
Hey.
Hey,
smoking crack.
wrong name,
Ooh.
wrong show.
No, you bitches Jones on all shows.
I guess. All right.
Do you want to be someone different? Who do you want to be? I'll give you a whole new name right now.
No, it's fine. We
It's
here.
Logical
It's
High.
Yeah, we already know.
No,
we
be
already
Logical
here.
High now.
No, we here now.
No,
Nah.
Logical High.
All right.
That's what I'm calling you from now on. I'm gonna just
All
call you
right.
Logic.
So, you done?
Are you done?
And I call you Logique with a Q.
Oh, so fancy.
L-O-G.
Right.
Yes, you can call him Logic. Logic. That
Get
shit
fancy
your
with
name
it.
is Logic. Logical High.
Oh, hi.
Logical high.
Logical High. Look at Logical High.
You know what? All right.
Established
fine.
in 19.
I'm gonna turn it into a Charlemagne thing.
That's fine.
Lashika High, yeah. All right, bet. Be like Charlemagne the God. Watch it happen.
Alright, so
Logic.
what did y'all want to start talking about?
Hey man, Cardi B got invited to speak at a Democratic reception.
Did she?
Yes,
I didn't
That's
even
random.
repeat. That's funny.
and it was actually yesterday, and
The
Desmond.
Or the, are you saying she got
Iowa.
invited yesterday or the
It was
the
yesterday.
position it was
Yeah,
yesterday?
today's the 31st. Yeah, it happened yesterday. Yeah. So
To perform or to
no,
do
to
that?
actually like speak.
Did she speak?
Is there anything
Yeah.
else she doesn't do?
what was going on?
What did she say? What was her talk about?
This is news to us.
Right.
We need to know.
Well, I was getting there.
Okay.
Basically, she
stories.
they basically pulled her cause you're done. You're good.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We listen.
Anyway, so they basically pulled her, have her talk because of her recent outspoken, comments about Trump, and basically used her to draw the attention of, the youth and the younger people and the people that listen to Cardi B.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to grab my microphone? Not my microphone. Nah, fuck it. I'll get it myself.
All right.
Okay. You suck. Oh,
Dang.
You didn't even ask. He might have got it.
don't be outside. How do you say
Look,
his
I
name?
stopped worrying about it.
How do you
I
say
stopped
his
worrying
name?
about it.
Logique.
Look,
How
don't
do you
be
say his name?
I'm not. I didn't even hear him say that, for real.
Just
To be honest.
Jussie Smollett.
Yeah,
Jussie.
Smollett.
Smollett.
Yeah, we definitely gotta talk about that.
Logique
I
Smollett.
gotta look up Cardi B.
Sorry.
She's
Yeah, we still gotta look at the Cardi B stuff.
I wasn't ready for Cardi B. That's what's up.
I want to see her speech.
I do too.
But did
I
y'all
like
hear
Cardi
about
B.
this Jussie Smollett attack?
Most definitely.
How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I'm sad.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like
I'm sad, Matt.
like
You said sad, Matt.
Yeah,
I support that.
sad, Matt.
you say you're what?
I'm sad, Matt.
Oh, okay, that's understandable.
Sad, Matt.
Yeah, but
What's going
he
on?
definitely didn't.
That's fine. Just know, if you're watching it on YouTube, there'll be a random pause. If you listen to the SoundCloud,
Definitely went. All right. Went into the
All
void
right.
on that one.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. But,
You went into another dimension.
no, why is sad, Matt?
Why sad, Matt?
Yeah.
I'm mad because that's some bullshit. Like, well, I have different views. I'm mad because of some bullshit. Because just why? I'm sad because nobody deserves that because they're gay or because they're black or because this is fucking whatever the fuck MAGA country is or whatever the fuck niggas want to say. Or not niggas, but you feel me.
Right.
And I'm not glad, but I'm glad that it wasn't just somebody that is technically a quote unquote nobody, because it would have been swept under the rug because it wouldn't have had as much attention as if it's him. So I'm sad it happened to him, but I'm glad it gets the attention that it needs because motherfuckers is racist as fuck and they be trying to act like they not.
Right. That's
And I'm
crazy.
mad because they didn't catch the people. Like, they don't know who did it. So I'm just really...
I'm mad
Sad,
because it was
man.
like they was planned because like they had ski masks on and everything, like
Yeah.
so
Right.
they knew that they were gonna, like, there was cameras around and shit like that, so like they had prepared to do this.
And I read something. I didn't get a chance to read into everything, but that said that it was some type of like substance sent to his house. Like,
Yeah, there was like
That's
a
one girl.
death letter sent to
Oh.
his house.
so he was targeted.
And it was like he came out of like he was doing a shoot for Empire and came out of like a Subway because he went to get something to eat. And just like he wasn't even like going like drinking or like party, like
No, he wasn't doing nothing. He was
like out of his mind or like
just
going
about on
Normal
his
to
day.
day. Going to
normal
get
day
some
was
work,
at work and went to go
Mhm.
grab some food, and you can't even do that.
It sucks
Right.
to be fucking black and gay and walking down the street when people don't like who you are as a person.
I mean, it's crazy that you even had a thought to do something of the sort
Yes.
to anybody just because of how they are, or just like
Mhm.
the way they live their life.
I think it's shitty that there's a divide between conscious Hotep black people and then the black homosexual community.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Because like in situations like this, there's like you clearly see they get it the worst, but y'all can't like unify with these people. Or I don't understand. I don't know. Just random thoughts, just like y'all are shitty.
Yeah, people definitely pick and choose what they want to fight for, which is why I'm not a big proponent for like I said, the Twitter madness, and it's just a good old masturbation session for see who can get angry more and type the more angrier words, I guess. But I did watch a video showing like the different side because I don't trust nothing the mainstream media says. So, like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence that once they start saying that wearing the MAGA hat was equivalent to wearing a KKK hood, even though the Democratic Party is the one who started the KKK. I just don't think it's like a coincidence that something like this would happen. And I'm not saying that he didn't get beat, but in more investigation, they were actually showing like the area that they were in was like a gay affluent neighborhood. Like, it should be cameras. Like, it's a Target down the street. There's a Hyatt. There should be cameras everywhere. And they said the police went through hundreds of hours of footage and could not find that he was beaten or like he said he was. Like, they said they could not find this fight. And then that they were saying, like, first it was MAGA hats, then it changed to ski masks. Like, the story keep changing so much. It's, like I said, no, nothing should happen like that. But if the mainstream media tell me to go right, I'm going the fuck left. I just don't trust none of what they say. Like, something don't seem right. Like I said, I just think it's mighty convenient that once they start saying the MAGA hat is equivalent to this, and then something like this where they trying to hype up, you know what I'm saying? Trying to hype up and make sure, like, MAGA is this and they're the racists. And I'm like, I started to notice on the news too that there's no opposing thoughts anymore. It's just, this is hate speech and this is this and this is this, and there's nothing to counterbalance that no more.
Oh no, of course not, because then you get attacked if you try to.
Yeah, it's just strange to me. Like, okay, now all of a sudden, like I said, I'm not 100% like a Trump supporter. Like, you won't see me with a hat, but these people do have voices too, and I may not agree with everything they say, but
you still want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear a different side. I'm trying to get the truth.
Observation, though. I never.
Yeah, I'm never against their silence. Like, I want to know what's on your mind. I always want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But looking at the little image that they posted of the two people, they only had on ski masks that I saw. I ain't see no hat now that you say that, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then the story just kept changing. I'm just like,
and I didn't know that the story changed so much though.
Yeah, first he said they said MAGA country, then he said they didn't. Like, the police, he said in the police report he never reported that it was MAGA hats or they yelled this is MAGA country. How could you yell this is MAGA country in a gay neighborhood without drawing attention somewhere? Like, wouldn't it be like phones and shit out, like, well, fuck you, like, you know how they gang up, like you know how they gang up, like they would say something. Yeah, like,
I'm looking into everything now.
I don't know. I'm
still upset that it happened to him.
Of course, of course, I don't want it to be that somebody attacked him because of who he is. Never that. Right. But this, like I said, always trying to challenge myself to see the other side of the story, and I came across that, and like I said, I don't trust none of what the mainstream media says, especially because I believe like they're running out of news, so now they have to harp on racism. Think about it, like when did this become like super? When did like the word racism? I've never heard the word racism so much in my life.
Probably around 2014, 2015 when I started. Right when I went to Seattle, it started to become like a real big thing.
Yeah, like when did this? I don't want to know. Like, what do black people have that white people don't have? Or
what's his name?
Obama.
Yeah, towards the end of the Obama era.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a weird coincidence.
A lot of people feeling like white people or Caucasians or whatever wouldn't allow or would have some type of retaliation for basically Obama being in office.
But there never was, though. Like, how could you say we're a racist country? We can't be a racist country if you had a black man leading the country. There's just no. I mean, but what else? What else would signify that, though? Like, how could you be a racist? What do black people have that white people don't have these days? And I'm not talking about no weirdo like bullshit fear that we had. You know what I'm saying? From the 60s and the 50s and stuff like that. What do we not have today that white people just don't have? I'm really confused. If you just scared of white people,
I still think that racism exists, but
we don't have access
to be more than what it seems. But at the same time, there are still cases out there where you still got people getting hung and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you got somebody. I think somebody just got hung in Ohio, like Southern Ohio. Like, you still got.
But it's not like a prevalent, like, nigga, you go down the street, you might see 5 bodies hanging.
Hanging isn't
showed to us, but
just disrespect because of your race, just lack of access, lack of opportunity. Just there's a lot of subtle ways, since it's no longer politically correct to be racist, that you can still be racist without having to overtly show it. And so that's now where the fight has been taken.
But then, like, what's overtly showing it? Like, what I'm saying, the lines get blurred there because now every little thing that everybody does is racist. Oh my God, you said my skin is dark. It's so fucking
like it's
racist.
not like it wasn't always a thing though. Like it's always been a thing. It's just
I'm
now
not denying
everyone has access to see
has
it.
a voice.
So now, since everyone can see it and everybody can like speak their word, they can tweet and do whatever. Yeah. Now everyone's opinion is thrown into the situation. Now everyone, you either have to care or you're parted out. I mean, people drive on being with the end though, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, because it's just
not
like,
everyone's like, oh, I don't care enough about.
It's trendy though. Like if I say I'm a black person and I don't feel oppressed, like I feel like I don't feel like I know I have access to whatever the fuck white people got access to. That's just how I operate.
As a black person.
That's what I'm saying. If you say that in front of a white person, they'll be like, "You're betraying your people. How dare you?"
No, I mean,
it's just strange. Like I don't know. I don't feel like I don't have
feel
it.
like that, and then some people.
I don't think that you have to feel oppressed because I don't think that it necessarily affects everybody in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But just because I don't feel like I'm like held back in any way or like there's no like barriers for me, doesn't mean that I can't also respect the fact that there could be potentially barriers for other people because of if we don't want to say this is a racist country now, we can say because of the racist history and the past that it's led in history that it could have still be something that's an issue. I mean, just because it's not for you doesn't mean it's not for someone else.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the problem is that we keep saying we're oppressed and white people have more than us. I don't.
Well,
that attitude, won't that keep somebody down though? If you still keep trying to keep perpetuating, like,
I mean, certain situations there are certain situations in which you being white will give you an advantage.
Yeah. Like what?
Like in the sense of dealing with the prison systems and whatnot.
Ain't more white people locked up than black people?
There's more white people in the country, but there's more percentage of black people per capita for our population.
And that's not even the point in which I'm making. The point I'm making is, like, if you look at it in situations where being a white male doing one thing compared to a black male doing the same crime, he gets more time for doing something, or this man he end up going to prison in which this person would get probation. Situations like that. And it happens all the time. So, yeah, there are certain things. No, like, everyone has opportunity. I know what you mean by that. Like, everyone has opportunity. You might not have the same start, but if you work and you dedicate yourself, yeah, you can get there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, back to the whole same start thing, everyone doesn't have that same start point. Some people have a point in which they start right here, and some people are all the way back here. And they have to work to get to that point in which that person already started.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree with Ash in the sense that you can't say, oh, there's all these chains, and then that be the end. Because
I mean, no, that's not it.
You gotta have some, like, work behind it. Like, all right, they're not playing the game fair. Mm-hmm. I recognize that. Now I'm about to do whatever I gotta do to get to where I need to get to.
Right.
So I don't think that you can just have the one statement, but I do think that you can recognize it and still.
Yeah, I don't disagree with her statement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there are things out there that are in the way that put us at a disadvantage.
I don't know. I feel like with us knowing that we move certain ways because of that.
See, I think that could be detrimental to us. Or like thinking that, oh, I can't have this because I'm that. And so I
wouldn't say don't think that you don't have it though. Or you can't have it though.
Yeah, or just like not even that you consciously think it, it's just
it's programmed into you.
You don't what?
Just shut off.
That's why.
I don't know. Was it
recording? It just stopped recording?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know it don't stay on this long. I'm mad at you asked.
I gotta make sure.
Alright, go check it.
You sure?
Alright. But shit, what was I saying? I lost my whole train of thought.
It can be detrimental
Yeah, it could be detrimental because something.
Like even subconsciously.
Because I'm thinking about it subconsciously. It's like if your parents are like, you can't do this, you can't do this, we can't get to this position. It's not even in your world purview to attempt to attain that.
Right.
So I can get where you say that you shouldn't even like have those thoughts. That's where I feel like you shouldn't even have a thought where your action shouldn't be dictated based off of what you think you can't get. They should be based off of what you feel like you want to attain.
That I can agree. But
And I don't think black people move like that all the time.
Yeah, and I'm saying like I think what I should have said was, is racism as big as a problem as it was in the 40s and 50s and beyond, or before that? No, it's not. But at the same time, what was I about to say? It's not as big as an issue as the media is making it out to be. And I just, like I said, it's so strange to me that all of a sudden everything's racist, everything's transphobic, everything's
I can agree with that. I feel
xenophobic, bugglophobic, because some of Pepsi phobic, whatever.
hyper-focusing on
Pepsi phobic. People out here.
racism.
Well, yeah, that's
Pepsi
what the
month.
media does. They take shit, blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, and I
Put it on
think,
fire.
like I said, with the information I found about this Jussie case.
Man, that's crazy though, because I'm really about to be like looking all up into that shit. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, but you know, my heart goes out to him. I hope he
Definitely.
feels better.
Right.
He
Definitely.
recovers strong.
Used to
So
watch
he
that
can
show.
sing.
I
I
never
liked it when I
watched it
watched it.
before.
Yo, my ex used to
And
watch that
I think I
show, and
watched,
it was
like-
just strangely addicting. Like, what? Like,
I
it
know,
was like
I have
crack.
never watched Empire.
Crazy.
I've
Like,
never
don't
watched
like
it.
I watched like
I
2
can't
seasons
stop
of it.
smoking crack.
No problem. I have never watched it before. Like I definitely feel bad for him in the
I
situation.
feel bad for
I'm
watching that
definitely
show,
sad,
though.
mad about it.
I feel just terrible for the whole show.
I do. Like, it was just one of those strange things. Like, my ex would watch it. I'm just like, fuck this shit. I'm just like, get the fuck out.
I just
And
could
I
never
just found
get
myself
into
peeping
it.
over, like,
Mm-mm.
what's going on with Lucius, though? It'd be like that. Like, oh, man. He did that a lot.
I mean, it initially caught my interest because, like, I swear up and down to this day, it's Hustle and Flow. So I'm like,
Oh, is it?
Let me
like
check it
Hustle and Flow?
out.
I watch Hustling.
like you
Oh, I
put
trust him. Oh.
you put Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson together.
They gonna yell at each
They
other.
had some kids. Like she was
True.
pregnant,
She was. Hey, I didn't even.
and then like instead,
I might have
like
to watch it
like
now that you
extended
said that.
listen
Hustle
though,
and
right?
Flow.
With the Empire story, Cookie went to jail, so the woman went to jail. Instead, so if it would have been in reverse, she would have went to jail, he would have stayed out, and he would have built the empire while she was in prison. That's what happened in Empire.
In Empire.
That's
He built
funny.
the
I never
empire
even
while
made
she
the
took
connection, but
the
it's so
17
obvious.
years for him. Yeah.
I'm about to have to watch that now.
So you flip it around.
yeah.
I mean, Hustle and Flow,
It's
if it
the
would have
same-
continued, it would have been the same thing, just in reverse. He would have done the time while she built the, empire. Whatever.
You just put me
Dang,
on.
that's an
Y'all
extended
just- y'all just
Hustle
put
and
me
Flow
on.
episode movie. Wow.
Y'all just put me on. Like, I really was not.
I don't
had
watch
no
it no
business
more,
watching
but-
it.
Today's episode is progress.
I had no.
That's what it
interest in
was
watching
to me. So that's what caught my interest. I watched it for a little bit, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with this.
Well, I would not be watching that. But y'all got it. Do that. Y'all gangster, gang.
Gang.
Oh shit. So
Yeah, I guess that segues great to the next topic.
segue. I was stumbling right into it. What the fuck is you talking about? Ain't no segue.
And I'm segue.
You
Boom.
wanna segue
Next
just-
topic.
Next
Topic
roll
two.
right on in that.
Topic two.
Yeah. It would have been cool if you hadn't, pointed it out. Why you like that? You don't.
I do that a
answer the
lot.
show. Yeah, that's why I record the show when you don't know.
Ugh.
Because you don't know that. But it's alright. So, y'all ready to talk about this pastor and marriage and broken families and all of that?
Do I still got that on here? Or wait, because I want to read it out loud.
Factual. It's in the chat.
Send it again. Because I think mine's like erases at a certain point.
Your phone can't hold the message. It's just like, no, we
It
don't
just be
want
like,
it.
yeah, it's just like, no.
I mean, there should be a setting for that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know shit. I'm about to get an iPhone and don't know how to work this one.
No, get an iPhone. iPhone, you'll be fine. You won't even
Yeah.
have to worry about a setting for
You
that.
ain't lied.
Like,
That should be
talk
there
about
for
a
life.
setting for that. Like, what are you talking about?
thread after
That
thread.
should be there. Like, damn, I still got these pictures of this bitch I can't stand.
I can't even figure out how to get rid of
Still
these
is.
pictures. I done deleted them like 80 times.
They done fell in the delete folder. What the fuck?
Why you even got a delete folder?
Let me delete the delete.
That's Apple though, man. Like y'all take some shit, you be like, all right, I'm gonna throw it in the trash. Then you got dump the fucking trash. Nigga, I threw the shit away. Why am I dumping the trash too?
When they added that shit, I was confused as fuck. Like,
How you delete the delete folder? That's funny.
Yeah, so y'all got it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. This is Cornelius on Instagram. This isn't to bring condemnation to anyone. It's only to serve as a warning to anyone with ears to hear and a heart that's open to receive. As a pastor, I witnessed the effects that come from broken homes. Talking to young men who hunger to be fathered and hearing about young girls that would give up the world to have an example to follow is truly heartbreaking. They could not control how they were born, but they can work on how they live. Their brokenness runs deep. Although the parent did the best she or he could do alone, the child became a product of his or her environment, portraying what he or she saw and growing bitter over what was absent. God has a system, and it should be honored. We encounter great problems when we dishonor the system. For this reason, we as men must recognize our duty to prize abstinence over promiscuity, discipline over recklessness, commitment over irresponsibility. We have a responsibility to lead and do the honorable thing, even in a dishonorable world. We will never have strong communities if our homes are broken, and we'll never have strong homes if our marriages are broken and seen as expendable. Finally, we'll never have strong marriages if our people are broken. We must be a generation of men that charts a new course, even if it's just for our own legacy. Let's leave behind what we didn't have, which will require us to do what we haven't seen done before. We can do it. God ordained us to do it. I believe in us.
and scene.
Bad.
That was perfect.
It was. I'm just so mad that you're you.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's like our own category.
Yeah.
She's her.
Yep.
You got it.
So thoughts, opinions, feelings?
I think that was pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not religious, but I think that actually drives home a really good point.
I mean,
Why?
I think we all need work before I say anything else. Like both men and women do need work. And like we were saying earlier about how subconsciously, how we program in generation after generation after generation to just, I don't know if black people as a whole have gotten better over time or worse. I guess that's a matter of opinion. But there is something to be said about these fatherless homes, because fatherless homes is far outran motherless homes for some odd reason. And I think that he's taken a good approach to say, yo, we need to start doing something about this. And it's becoming super detrimental that generation after generation, we keep having these broken homes. And I think it's good that he brought some attention to that. And everybody trying to be independent. Like I was saying, everyone wants to be independent. Don't nobody want to need nobody no more. We all by ourselves. We all sterile. We can't say anything to each other. It's becoming like these kids out here retarded as fuck.
I mean, it's becoming a virus in the community.
Yeah.
To be honest, because the point making, without having a stable home, without.
Wait, can I interject? Because I disagree with y'all.
What?
So before we get on this agreement train,
the agreement train has stopped.
Yeah. My only disagreement is, I'm cool with what y'all say, because what y'all saying sounds like y'all want people to like be less selfish, have more perspective when dealing with other people and engaging in like creating a life and losing that self-centeredness and things like that. Do you think that's really tied into like abstinence and religion though? Because that's what he's doing. He's saying this is the only way to get to that.
Oh, well, every Christian we ever know is going to say God is the only way. Like, he's not going to go outside his box.
Like I was about to say, I'm not religious either. So when I look at religion and the like messages being put out and whatnot, I don't see them as like in a religious way. I see them as like in more of a moral type thing. Yeah, he's tying it to religion, but to me hearing the words, I displace it from religion, so it's not a thing in that sense to me. So yeah, I do agree that communities would be better off with 2-parent homes. Yes, I do agree that things would be better, and we could rise up as a community if we actually started working together instead of being independent or wanting to be independent. And like you get into a fucked up situation, you, instead of trying to have someone around you and trying to be with somebody, y'all two working together, you want to do it all by yourself. You want to do this by yourself. You want to try everything by yourself. You work together, you get there quicker. You get there stronger, have a better ground. You're more stable.
Right.
So if one falls, there's someone else to back you. And if that one falls, that person's there to back you. That's what a community is. That's it starts in the home, I guess, in a sense.
But what do you think it takes to make that then? Because what he's saying is you need to be abstinent. You need not to like engage. So like I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, how do you guys see getting there then? If you don't agree with like I guess his methodology to get there, like you guys seem to agree with the point.
Yeah, I think you just have to be more mindful about your decisions. Like when I got pregnant at 19, I wasn't being mindful of my decisions. So that led me to have, you know what I'm saying? I had a child really early, and I had to grow with my child, and I had to become an adult when I wasn't ready to become an adult because I didn't make a conscientious choice. The choice that I made thereafter was a conscious choice because I chose to keep my child. And the choice after that was I'm going to be the best mother that I can be. Mm-hmm. If you go into things making these conscious choices, you will have better outcomes because you've made a choice. And I think that's what he's saying. Abstinence might be the way for some people.
Or wearing a condom.
Right.
Or just, protection.
Right. Or just thinking about your partners that you're sleeping with. Like, we had a discussion, like, how do you feel about casual sex now? I'm like, I don't know how I feel about casual sex now. Because
I ain't really with the casual sex.
Yeah, because we can play like casual sex isn't a thing, but like I said, you consciously choosing the partner that you want to be inside of you or you want to be inside of, it changes the dynamic.
It does
so much more.
It turns into a whole nother situation because it's not like I could even get down with the whole being promiscuous because like in that sense, that's just you kind of just out here like
letting people pull on you in all these different
like
directions.
You here, you there. You're not thinking about what you're doing. You're just going.
Yeah.
You're just going. You going. Mm-hmm. And better sense of where you being a hoe. I mean, I don't know what to call it, but but like
I don't
it's
know
just
that being a hoe.
And it's not even. It's not like and it even goes even further than that to the sense that
what do I call it?
Yeah, after he can finish, I guess she said.
Because it's not, and like I said, it's not even you just casually having sex. That's not what I'm calling. I'm calling like that person that's just out there just going, just hitting, just going and going and going and going. It's like at this point, it's like a need for you. It's like a addiction.
Exactly,
like I mean, if it gets into that sense, you need some help. But I'm just saying like that's don't do that. That's not what you should be doing. Like, I don't feel like you should be doing that. That doesn't help the situation.
See, no, I don't care about that. Like, if you just want to be out here just fucking, I think that's completely fine. I don't really think that's a hoe. So for me, what a hoe is someone that's out here fucking and then also running their mouth about it. Like, their whole business. And not even like it's supposed to be a secret, but they're like, yeah, I just fucked him and him today.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what I kind of mean.
That's
about
it.
That's
for
hoish
you?
behavior. Like,
nah.
That's
being reckless
business.
about
That's your life. Why are you broadcasting what you do? That's supposed to be between you and somebody else.
Right.
That's hoish behavior to me.
Okay.
Like, you grown, so you can do what you want to do. And that ain't really none of my business.
Right.
Once you broadcast it,
that's true. But
now you give me license to have an opinion. Nah, what? I made you say no.
Because I'm really trying to put it into words for myself. But just because somebody's broadcasting it, like, that doesn't make them a hoe, in my opinion. Like, yes, you can be out here grown doing what you're doing. If you want to fuck with a bunch of people, fuck with a bunch of people. That's cool. But still, that's still hoish behavior, in my opinion. Like, if you out here just fucking with, just bouncing around people, bouncing around.
I feel like you're just being reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be reckless.
That is being, that behavior in itself is being reckless. I don't feel like you actually have to be speaking about it. You can be a hoe and just be keeping it to yourself. I mean, like, shit, I'm fucking all these
you grown,
niggas.
do whatever the fuck you want to do.
You know, you still
like
partaking in the whole.
If you like, I can get down with his point though. Like, if I don't know, then to my mind, I can never call you a hoe because I don't know about your activities. Yeah. My opinion does not matter. It never becomes a thing because no one knows about it.
But when does somebody's opinion ever matter to?
I mean, some people live for opinions.
No, that's not true. People's opinions matter all the time. That's why we have fucking social media. What are you talking about?
No, when do people's opinions? If you're a hoe, you know you're a hoe. Why does somebody else's opinion?
Tell me you don't know hoes right now that are on social media that when people call them out for thirst trapping, thought and all shit like that, they don't get mad. They don't get in.
What about the hoes that be like, all right, I am a hoe.
Yeah, but that's not.
Well, look, girl, embrace your shit.
Okay.
Be proud.
So that's the same argument.
Live your life.
That's not everybody.
Yeah. So, but my thing is just.
Mad are not everybody.
But I'm just saying, if I know you a hoe, then you give me the right to
call you a hoe.
To call you a hoe. You give me. It's not even that you give me the right to call you a hoe. You give me
the knowledge
right to have an opinion. You put
if
that
you
out,
out
if
there,
you put that out into the public forum,
mm-hmm.
and so now that's for public consumption. So now I can do with that as I will.
This is true.
So now if I think you a hoe, you can't be mad at that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And so that's why I feel like if I don't know what you're doing, I can't really think you a hoe because you could be out here fucking Bob, Billy, and John all on Monday, and then Ricky, Tommy, and Tyrone on Tuesday, and you got 3 more lined up for Wednesday. But realistically, you go to work every day, you raise your kid, and I don't ever see none of that. I'm gonna think you an upstanding person.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Like,
but she's still a hoe.
I mean,
but don't nobody know that, so it don't matter.
I get what you're saying, but she's still a hoe. I'm just gonna I'm gonna leave it at that.
She's still a hoe. Okay, I get it.
I ain't never fucked a Billy before. That might be on the bucket list.
Who the fuck is Billy?
Billy. Oh, Billy.
Wait, how do we get to that topic?
Billy?
Wait.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. But anyway,
no. I was trying to think of where we came from.
She read into Billy. She started having conversation with Billy.
Yeah.
The point
he should.
Yeah, it's just coming from people, just coming from their animal instincts. I need to bust this nut. I need to feel instant gratification now.
Gosh. That's like what I was talking about last week when I don't remember what the topic was, but when I was saying. The nigga told me like, yeah, niggas cheat because they got dicks.
Oh yeah.
If I rub my jeans the wrong way, then I'm gonna fuck. Like what?
Yeah, I didn't understand. Like,
what logic is this?
That's like the shit
I'm pretty sure that I don't even remember what the fuck I said.
That's crazy. That's how I feel for y'all. Like, oh shit,
man, fuck that.
It might go down.
Nigga, you a hoe.
Damn.
Shit.
Well.
Yeah, that's some harsh behavior. What you mean, bro? But you see how you can judge him because he told you.
Yeah, you right though. I can judge you. Fuck, I'm
yeah, if he hadn't told you that,
boy, you a hoe.
You wouldn't have known. It wouldn't have mattered.
Exactly. You might have still been talking to him. It's just crazy. But no. So we don't agree that abstinence is the only way. We think that it's more perspective.
Yeah, just make more mindful about your choices.
I was just about to say
it ain't gotta be abstinence, man. You just gotta be responsible.
You gotta make conscious decisions. Period.
Right, because if you gonna raw dog a hoe, that means you must want her to be your mother. Like you must want to be a mother. Like think about it. Like when you in a relationship with somebody for a certain amount of time, you have to develop a certain amount of trust before they can start not having birth control and not wearing condoms and stuff like that.
Right, I mean, you ready?
You ready? Yeah, you'd be like, listen, if you have a baby, it's okay at this point. I think. So, I'm willing to risk it all just for this moment.
Essentially. And that's what people be doing, just for the moment.
Uh-huh. Right, or just be like, yo, I'm not going to date. I'm actually looking for, or, be honest with yourself. Like, I think that's actually a good point to bring up for, like, men who are in that phase. Like, you just out here. To be honest with another person and say, I'm not ready for monogamy either.
I think that there should be some type of system, which I know I'm probably going to get hella hate for this. Camera cut off again because it don't really fuck with me.
Right, it was like, nah.
Cut it back on and started keep it going? What we doing?
Yeah, I cut it back on.
All right, we're going to stop.
You
We keep recording?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, just so y'all know,
let it roll.
this going to be just an audio exclusive. What I think that, I think there should be a system in place because realistically, I think that there's an issue where women can choose to terminate life. Mm-hmm. And I think that should always be in their hands and their control. Uh-huh. But I don't think that right should automatically give them the right to make somebody else a parent. Because if a woman's not ready to have a kid and she's fucking around and just ends up pregnant by some fucker that she doesn't give a fuck about, she can be like, you know what, I'm not ready for this, I'm not having it. Men have no option, no way out of that. So it's all up to the woman's discretion to decide, well, I decided I was ready for a kid, and so now you have to be ready for a kid.
Yeah, he has a point there.
I don't think that that's really, I don't think that's really conducive to anything.
Yeah, when I got pregnant, I wasn't like, oh, we about to raise this baby. It was like, I'm going to raise my baby. Not on the, I don't need him. Uh-huh. Yeah. It was just a choice. Because, like, at the time, he was 19 and in and out of jail and shit. I'm just like, oh, this is going to have to be me. There's no we, essentially, unless he chooses that for himself. So I'm going to have this baby because I'm choosing to have my baby. Mm-hmm. Not because I'm being spiteful because I wanted my baby. That was right. Like you said.
I think
a lot of people don't have that mindset though.
I would think there would be less pregnancies that resulted
in. She's like, all right.
I don't
yep.
Know.
Straight to the chest.
Never mind. We're gonna keep on topic because I was damn sure about to tell my Pornhub excursions. Go ahead.
All right, there would be less pregnancies if men also had the right to decide that they wanted to give up their parental rights and that a woman couldn't go after them financially. Because then it would give both people a reason to reconsider. Is this a right? Is this a good decision?
I can agree.
Right.
It's not just left up to less or one person to make. It's like it's all up to the man to decide not to have sex, not to get a woman pregnant, not to do any of these things. But then as soon as he makes that decision, it's no longer your control. Now it's all the woman. So if it's all up to me to this point, then how do I automatically lose control?
Right.
And if she has the control to decide that she wants to have a baby, is willing to carry that baby and all those things, why does that also automatically make me say that I'm willing to be a father? I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
The feminists are coming. I can hear them.
That was a really good point, though. Because I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, me neither.
That was a really good point.
And that just shows you, like, how inundated we are with, like, woman's body, her choice. Like, wait a second, we wouldn't have one.
I don't even
baby.
think that's what it's about at this point.
Like,
I think that's just, like, see.
Y'all can have the baby, but you don't have the right to tell me that I need to also be the father.
Be afterwards.
At this point, it's just something.
You have my baby. You got pregnant, have my baby.
Left over from
right.
the
You
past.
can't do that.
Like, it's just automatically assumed. It's like it's a relic of the past.
But when did that start? Because like I was reading like Gnosticism and like they would have like mad orgies, right? But like say if the girl had gotten pregnant, they would just perform abortions. Like, no, this is not happening.
It became like when you
literally
because abortion is more realistically a more religious thing than anything else.
It came out around the feminist movement,
right?
And realistically, I wanted to touch on that in this topic too because I kind of feel like. So there was the civil rights movement, which was the black family fighting for equality. Then, and in that situation, black families usually had a structure of the man and woman as equal.
Right.
Because they came up through such tumultuous hardship. But then the feminist movement came up where white women now wanted rights and things like that. And so they pulled the black women out of their homes and pitted them against their men who they didn't necessarily have an issue with to get rights from
just
the white
stop
men.
Beating me, Harpo.
No. Really?
And so
really? No, here, this is what I feel like.
And like added to the separation where now there's like less united black families. Because there was a point where we were united, and then
there's one point which I now that I'm thinking about it, I might have to disagree with in the making of your point, when it came to the white women pulling the black women out, right? It was more or less because in the movement, it wasn't about them being equals as much as it was the black woman being strong, being able to take the bearing. That's always how it's been. It's even like, now that I'm thinking about it, it goes back even further than that, because always the black woman was always strong. The black woman was always the one that took everything on her shoulders. She was the one that had to be the pillar. She had to be the center of it. She was the one that took everything when her man was getting beaten. She was the one that like dealt with all that pain. She was the one that took it up on her shoulders. And now coming to the point in which the feminist movement comes about, it's like, yeah, we're gonna pull the black. We're gonna be like, oh, you're not. Your man should be doing more for you. You shouldn't be doing this, that, and the third. And it kind of works on. It kind of like picks and pulls on our, I guess, I don't want to call it roots, but like our base, I guess. Mm-hmm. Picks it apart, pulls it apart, and makes it like it weakens our structure as a community, I guess. It makes us look at that in a bad way, maybe.
Right. Yeah, it made us view our household and the black family as negative, and then put a
hell, it
perspective
even goes back to Africa, to be honest.
We want to be treated this way that another cultural group has decided.
Right.
And so, because the second part of what the pastor said was that being born in a single family home provides a deep sadness and makes you a product of your environment. And I greatly push back against that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
I know there's differences because I grew up with both a mom and a dad. I know there's differences, but I don't think that.
Well, I definitely think there's differences.
Yeah, it's definitely differences from what I've noticed. And I was really surprised because, like, growing up in school, everybody would ask me, like, your dad's at home? I'm like, yeah, fuck that nigga, though. It gets on my nerves and he tells me to brush my teeth. Like that guy. Just little kid stuff. But then, like, growing up, it's like, when I hear people's different traumas, like, yo, I just wish I had a dad there. Or I just wish I had my mom there. Or I wish one of them was, like, something was just better. Like, they just always have, not always, but, like, there's definitely, like, I don't know, I guess the best way to say, like, a little sort of, like, incompleteness of just, like, dang, what's the other part?
I feel like that's only a situation when the parent that you do have is lacking in some way to you, and even if you're not willing to like verbalize that outwardly because you're a child and you probably don't want to acknowledge that the way that your parent loves you isn't necessarily the way that you need to be loved, so then you envision that your parent that you don't have would treat you the way that you want to be treated.
Grass is always greener.
And so now there's this sense of longing, and so like for me, I come from a single parent. Fuck that nigga. I don't want to have no desire to speak to him. He keeps trying to reach out. I don't want to, but
I feel like it also like has
surrounded me with love and kept me in a household and households with like people who are going to provide and care and like respect me as like an individual. So it's never been like, oh, what am I missing from that? You doing you. That's cool. I'm doing me. That's where we leave it.
I don't think everybody feels that way though, that has had that type of upbringing. And then you also have kids that where their parent, whoever their parent is, like their mom is always working, so they either provide them for themselves or they with somebody all the time. They're not getting that time with their mother or something like that. So, you look at it like you don't give a fuck. Somebody might really give a fuck.
Oh no, that's what I say. Like I feel like you have to have a parent that is fulfilling all your needs because if you don't, then you definitely gonna lack.
Sometimes a kid don't even know what it is that they truly need because they're still a kid, and the parent.
Oh, see, I can acknowledge that there's probably things that I could have learned from my father that I couldn't learn from my mother, but I don't think that's created a sense of longing or like deep sadness or maybe a product of my environment.
I don't know. I feel like the longing would come from also like if you were in a situation where you had both your parents at one point and then they split and separated off into whatever happened, you ended up with your father, you ended up with your mother, and essentially it was like a divorce in a sense, and that also could create that longing in which you miss that togetherness that it once was.
The longing, I can see that for me.
Especially if you had a two-parent household at one.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the pastor, but I can see why he can say that some people are a product of their environment.
I definitely
some people,
think that you can say it for some people, but you can't. But that's what I was like. You can't generalize it. Like,
I was about to say,
like it's some things are true for everybody, but I don't think that inherently makes you broken. I just think that makes each person's experience unique.
Yeah.
Which
agreed.
Which is
makes
kind of what like defines all of us. Like even like
it doesn't make you
if you both had if you had both your parents and someone else had both their parents, y'all could still have uniquely different experiences. And you could still have a deep longing for a parent or parents that care about you, because you could have both parents and not give no fuck. Right. And so that's where my thing is. It's like just this situation doesn't make there's
rich
no
kid
standard
problems
to what makes it good.
Fucking see.
Yeah.
Rich kid problems.
But you got everything.
But you got everything you ever wanted.
I think that's my issue with religion and Christianity. It's like there's no standard to what makes a good situation or what's going to like truly work, except for like dedication. You're being able to communicate, have a decent ability to have a different perspective besides your own.
I agree.
And that doesn't always say like, oh, we did this in this order or we did this way. That means that we're like removed from ourselves enough to like accept the feelings of somebody else and be like, hey, maybe what I'm doing makes me happy, but isn't necessarily the best for this situation or the best for the other people involved.
Right. And like you said, they just had this weird way of just being inside that box, and they just won't step outside that box that they put them into. Say, well, maybe if it's not abstinence, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, you could just ask yourself these couple of questions before you have a partner.
I mean, at that point, it goes into religion, and then you're questioning your own religion. And
right, you're questioning God, and then really it's just a fear of God. Like, they just afraid of God, for real. But they
I don't even think it's that much. I think it's more or less you being a fear of.
It is not blasphemous to question your religion.
I know that.
And people, y'all should really understand that. Like, I hate all these Christians out here that don't read their fucking Bible. That go to church every fucking Sunday. And then want to be like, oh, you can't question religion. Yes, the fuck you can.
Right.
Jesus,
when the all-loving God wants you to question
all of that, had questions, was communicating with people, was answering questions. But y'all are like, oh, no, you can't explore. There's no, like, it's like they want to take the philosophy and human understanding out of religion and make it into orders.
Yeah, like you can't, like, it becomes something even more than that, because it's like you get to a point in which this philosophy, this doesn't work, it doesn't fit, it doesn't solve your problem. So now the religion or religious figure you've been looking at, you're like, oh, I put my problems in your hands. Now you have no answers for me. Like, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. Now I'm questioning you. Like, we essentially get back into the questioning, and now you're doubting. Yeah. You can't have doubt. That's crazy. That's blasphemous.
I guess I don't understand why people don't feel like they can ask questions without inviting doubt. Like,
it's not. It's because
if you have faith is belief with the absence of proof.
Yeah.
So regardless of what questions you ask, you got to know that there's not going to be 100% concrete answers, and that's where your faith comes in. But y'all niggas' faith is hella weak.
Yeah,
you can't ask fucking questions.
But it's against, like, humans by nature are curious. So in that sense, when you're like, that's why faith is a crazy thing to me. Because, like, with all the curiosity that comes along with being human, you just, like, it's like, hey, this is what this is. Here's this book.
This is what it is.
Read it. He's real.
Nothing else.
People have talked to him. They wrote it down right here. Live by this. And it's like, all right, now I got questions, and don't ask me questions. What you mean don't ask you questions? And if I ask you questions, you don't want to give me answers.
Or tell me to go back to the book that I am really confused about.
Yeah, that shit is the dumbest shit.
That's why I'm here.
Don't send me back to the fucking
It don't make
book
sense.
Hey,
why these books
that do that? Like, go read your Bible. My nigga, I read my Bible, and now it says some shit that gave me some questions. How about the fact
you
that
next in charge?
In Genesis, you know, we can just talk about Genesis. Genesis, in the book of Genesis, one creation story. Humans are created in the middle. Mm-hmm. And the second creation story, humans are created at the end. Because the one where they were created in the middle, motherfucking God asked Adam, hey, what should we name all these animals?
Horse.
Yeah.
About it. Dumb as fuck. I don't need. Deer. What's a deer, Adam? I don't know. Deer.
I'm reading my Bible and I'm new to Christianity, and this gives me some confusion. And I go to you as my pastor and I ask you, hey, what's going on with this? I don't understand why there's two stories. And you can't explain that to me. You just tell me to go back to my Bible. I'm leaving the church. You suck at your job.
I've heard a lot of Christians that said, like, I went and I left and I asked the questions and I was, I guess, atheist for a while and then went back to Jesus. I'm like, I don't know how you did that, but
I think people find their spirituality and then don't necessarily know how to explain that without,
so it has to be God.
Without, not even that it has to be God, because I don't think that God is necessarily Christian. I feel like you can have spirituality and have a God and have an entity, because God could be the universe. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that that's necessary. But I don't think that they know how to even explain that. And so they just default into, well, I found something that makes me feel comfortable. And the only thing that I know to classify this as, other people call it Christianity, so that's what I'm going to call it.
Well, maybe it's like the human need to personify stuff, because think about it, the Hindus do it with like Vishnu and Shiva. Buddhists do it with Buddha, Tara. There's so many ways to personify God. Like, they can't just think abstractly about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They can't just feel like for me, there's an inner knowing that knows, like, I'm the master of my universe. You can't tell me any different. But they can't abstractly put, like, well, how did you get here? Like, dude, can't you just feel it? I don't know.
In certain situations, like when you're talking about, like, going back and leaving and coming and all that whatnot, mm-hmm. It's like, I feel like, for example, you're like, all right, I left. Didn't have no answers left. I feel like a lot of people are in religion in the sense of not having to feel like all their problems and all the things they deal with is just on them.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, and it's that phrase. I hate it so much. It's like.
You say it.
Put your. I was getting there.
Okay. What was the phrase?
Anyways,
excited.
Anything along the lines of lay your problems on God. Let him deal with them. Anything in a sense, because it's like it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah,
it's
not like you're releasing for yourself.
Yeah, like you're giving your response. You're like, oh, it's not a thing. Oh, there was a pastor that cheated on his wife, and the whole church is in a roar saying, oh, the devil made him did it. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No,
the devil and his wife was right there next to him. Like, yeah, the devil made him. So you can't accept the fact that your husband was cheating on you, so you wanted to blame it on the devil.
Right.
All right.
When you done tested me for the last time, about to give you this pickle.
Man, look, this man, he got it. Like, pickle. He in there, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, you put your problems on something bigger, something else, so you don't have to deal with it. You can blame it off and look at, like, continue through life as nothing's ever an issue. Like, you forever guarded against everything because, you know, God's behind you, and, you know,
God's gonna get me through.
Nothing can hurt you. Yeah.
For me, it's not even that they're always guarded. It's the fact that people use their religion as a crutch.
Yeah.
To explain away why they don't try as hard because they pray so much. Like,
I never understood
prayer without work don't work.
My favorite one. My favorite one is God helps those who help themselves. Exactly. Because realistically, you did it your fucking self.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh yeah, I did it. No, God did it for me. God helped me.
I'd be so sorry. My mother was like,
so you ain't just sit here and go to school for 4 years and put all these hours into it and studied your ass off these endless nights.
No, Jesus. No, you ain't by your side. Student loans is by your side.
Jesus had you. He did that shit. He got you. Boom.
FAFSA was by your side, making sure you got through.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But that's like
we
what
probably
my
gotta
mother-
later like do some research about it because they don't fuck with us for real. Clearly,
But do it just click like randomly, or no? It's
It's
literally
like-
shutting off.
20 minutes.
You got a good 20 minutes and it's like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, like it takes breaks. It gets tired. Some days it's sleepy.
You got sleep mode.
So bad. Just looked at me like, you know, your camera be sleepy as shit. They be like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm here. I'm not doing this shit no more. Fuck this shit. I'm done.
Maybe if you like touch it every once in a while, it'll just stay awoke. Every 10 minutes or so, you gotta get up and press a button.
She'll get it working again.
Or it might just have sleep settings.
Yeah, but shit. Where was I? What was he talking about?
That camera took us.
Something about religion.
Right, something
Oh,
about
yeah,
religion.
Like, so. Oh.
You said, oh. It's like,
Yeah, nah, what we're talking about. Just like people using religion as a crutch instead of like doing the work for themselves. Or like I get what you're saying, where people will be like, "Oh, God did it," and like I have an issue with that, but then I don't have an issue with that. Like if you don't want to take the credit for what you did, and that's like what's called for in your faith, that's fine, because like in Christianity, you're supposed to be humble, have humility. And like no work is done through you for real. It's all through like your faith in God and like your dedication through Him, and then doing the right things, but also doing the things that you need to be doing in the world to like be progressing. So I get it. Be humble and dedicate that to them, because that ain't really none of my business. But when you like say, "Oh, I need God to do this for me," or you praying for things and you not putting in the work and you just praying, miss me with that. I don't got no sympathy for you. I don't even want to talk to you about it. I hate a complainer. If you gonna complain and not do no work, what are we talking about? Like, why you keep talking to me? You clearly don't want to do that. You don't want to change.
That's like a nigga being like, oh yeah, I pray I get this new job, my nigga. You putting in apps? No.
Yeah,
Just
well,
praying on it.
praying I get a new job, nigga. But you ain't applied.
go
yet.
hit me
Somebody
up.
Some gonna come through for me, bruh.
Google.
Like, my nigga, what? You not trying? Like, you not doing
I got a couple of homies that got jobs. They gonna let me know when they job is hiring, bruh.
my nigga.
Bruh, I know, bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh, fight.
I had a nigga that like asked me every time he saw me. He like, man, I need a job. I'm like, all right, bro, we hiring. He like, all right, bro, I'm putting in the app.
Get me in there.
I see this nigga 2 weeks later. Hey, bro, man, I need a job. I'm like, bro, we hiring. All right, I'm putting in that app. I'm gonna let you know. All right, bro. 2 weeks later. Like, it's just,
Niggas just be like that. I feel like
all right. I mean, you want to have that conversation. Look like you trying. I mean, cool, but
people-
my nigga, you told me
Somebody
this.
doing
Like,
some shit.
after the first time, after the second time, it's like, all right, you're not really trying. You just want to have this conversation. I mean, whatever. You grown.
No, I don't want to have this
That's
conversation.
that
Stop
be
talking
wild.
to me.
Look, you grown.
No,
as fuck.
no,
I don't want this
no,
conversation.
no. I be
Two
mad
arms
as
that
fuck.
work,
It be like,
two
whatever.
legs that work, nigga.
No,
It be like, whatever,
no,
just give me my
I be
shit.
mad as fuck. I hate people that only talk to me about the same shit. Like, if you're in the same position in life that you were in when I met you 5 years ago, my nigga, you not trying to change.
Oh,
I know
that's
somebody
cool.
that
I got something for that.
in that same motherfucking position, they stuck in somebody else's house, been talking about, oh, I'm gonna get my own place. But instead of prioritizing, all right, I need to buckle down and work, you focus on, oh, I need some me time because you got pregnant, had a kid early, and the nigga sold you some pipe dreams, said he wanted to be a father. I give you that, and then changed his mind. But you now been in the same position for the last 5 years?
No excuse.
Where is your accountability? Where
Right.
all you keep saying is, I don't know why people keep doing things to me. I don't know why no one wants to help me. Bitch, do you want to help yourself?
Are you trying to help yourself? Like, what's going on? You can't just sit there and wait.
Literally the same conversation for 3 years. 3-4 years.
Bro, I wouldn't have the patience.
Right.
Bruh, like,
I do.
that
I
shit.
act like that.
4 years, bro.
Pisses me off.
It was like, it was the shit I used to talk to back in the day. It was crazy. It's like I had to stop talking to her after the first year because it was like, wait, you're not really trying to do nothing. All you do is you want to kick it. You got a kid, but all you want to do is beat up under me. That's red flag 1. You're not gonna be a good mother, so you can't be the mother to my kids. So this not going nowhere.
Pull out.
You played yourself.
Red flag 2 is
right.
you don't need. All you do is complain about where you at, but you don't want to do nothing to change where you at, and you hop from job to job. I don't understand. I'm so confused. You don't seem to care about shit.
Just put it in the hands of the Lord.
Yeah, just like giving it up to like the universe. Like something's gonna work out. Like how do you even believe that? Like
that's not a
that.
thing,
Just
bro.
that, and that's not even like.
It's not even
just strictly religious. Like just people who complain and like expect just random generosity from other people.
Oh, don't get me.
No, go ahead. I'm mad. We on the show. You be like, don't get me started. Like this is the whole show is for.
Right, I don't want to talk about it.
Like no. You need to get started.
Yeah.
I need you to get started here.
At the start of this, and I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into that.
I got you. Oh.
That.
Oh yeah.
But you know.
Y'all don't like me.
Oh, I hate this part.
Oh, that's
y'all gotta have stories.
Right. We'll tell you later.
We'll tell you off mic. Off mic, we can definitely have this conversation.
Yeah,
It's
keep
not
that
a
one in the
conversation
pocket
for
for
all
right
mic. Yeah, we just go segue on Dougie past that.
Oh, he said seg Dougie.
Yeah,
Seg Dougie past that one time.
But no, I think I don't have anything else to say about this. I don't think abstinence is needed. Oh, do y'all think that children should only be created in marriage?
Ooh,
do you think you have to be married to have a good relationship and create a child?
No, I don't believe that.
Speaking from the divorced person over here who has a child. My motivation was for getting married was to have a family. Like when I was 25, I just knew that I was at this space where I'm like, I'm done with childish things. I'm done with kind of just going with the flow, and I want to have something stable. Mm-hmm. So the obvious choice was like, I
remember that.
The obvious choice was like, let me try to have a family with the person I created this baby with.
I was so disappointed. let me tell you. No, I'm gonna be honest. Fuck that. Tony was so disappointed. She was gonna be a writer and everything. We had this whole like blog idea planned out, and then she's like, "I can't do that. I'm focused on a family." And I just and when someone tells you that, all you can do is be like, "You're right. I respect that." That's a smart decision. Like, you can't be mad.
I feel the mindset though.
But on the inside, I was mad as shit. I was like,
it was so much.
I don't think that marriage has to be what drives a kid, but definitely me personally, I want a family before I.
Yeah, like going into it next time, I'm not like kids. I've made a conscientious choice. Like,
before I have a kid though, but I want a family. You know,
I want to be established. Like I want to be like
be like established, stable. Like this is the thing. This ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Can't just be out here having kids with random people. That's crazy.
Definitely, I feel
3 months. 3 months in, baby. Nah, I'm good. I don't need that.
See, that's my thing. It's like I don't think that you need to be married. I think you need to have a solid relationship and foundation.
Like a stable situation.
A family, right?
Kids are in a mixture where you don't know how the other person feels about children. Where y'all haven't had that conversation.
Right.
Where y'all just fucking and y'all just kicking it and y'all haven't had no serious conversations. And so now you're pregnant. And now you got to have a serious conversation when the serious shit is already happening.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So now you find out this nigga didn't want to be a father, or you find out that she want to be a mother, and now y'all in a crazy situation, and y'all mad. Yeah. So.
I just had to add that in there.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yep. Vice versa. You got
know.
it. you never know.
Like it happens the other way too.
It do.
Yeah.
It do. And so no, that shit's just crazy where people be out here making decisions and not having like a good thought process or plan, and that's the issue.
Damn, that was a great fucking rap to that point.
Yeah,
a great rap to that point that you made. Yeah.
Bravo.
Good job, yo.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty done with the show.
Wait, hold on. I got a question. All right,
there's more questions. Never mind, we're not done.
Hold on. The other fellow Cleveland people, right?
Oh, I fucking do. Oh, you.
So look, right.
Smack you on the mouth.
So. Today was warmer than it was yesterday, right?
Y'all was training.
Listen to the question. Today is warmer than it was yesterday, right?
Arguably so.
Today?
Yeah.
It was a tad bit warmer.
See, I told you. It's a Cleveland thing.
No, wait, no. Let me check.
Yesterday,
Let me
I
check.
came outside.
Let me
I
check.
got in the car. My whole face was what the fuck? I didn't even know my face was numb. And I had snot dripping down my fucking chin. I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
I had a tear freeze on my cheek.
All right. Wait. Time out. So Marcus asked this question because he a hoe. So let me explain where this question comes from. I hate all you Cleveland people that tell me that yesterday was -4 and today is 4. It's not warmer. It's less cold outside. What it is less cold. It's cold as a bitch still, but it's not as cold as it was previously.
He mad because we got a positive attitude about cold weather.
Do you feel heat out there? Is there any type of warmth, as the word warmer implies? No, my nigga.
I saw some ice melt under the sun. Under the sun.
Like, it's a brighter day.
SpongeBob ass imagination niggas.
Nigga, you know what he meant, damn it. You know what he meant.
He's
I'm from California, and no, what y'all mean and what I mean
just
is
so
two
mad
different
about
things.
it.
It's like, no, it's like less
I
cold.
mean 80 degrees.
Is there
70.
any heat?
I mean, it's 60 degrees is a nice outside. You can go outside. It's cool. It's nice. It's a little cool, but it's all right. It's nice. Anything under 60 is cold. Ooh. All right. Actually, that's not true. Let me be honest. Anything under 60, it's not bad outside.
Mm-hmm.
California.
So 59 to 40 is that it's not bad weather. Once you pass 40 degrees, it's cold. Anything after that is cold in the bitch.
That's what it's saying on the thermometer.
Yeah.
Cold.
And no, look. It's funny though because we had this conversation multiple times because when it was like
all you niggas be telling me
no,
because
like when it was like the 20, it was like 20 degrees outside, right? We're sitting here like, oh yeah, it's nice and warm.
Because I
Like,
was
it's
three
cool
ass
out
Cleveland
here.
ass niggas,
And then all of a sudden,
and I'm not right.
it go from 20 degrees to like 34, and he
Right,
walking
and
around
30.
here like it's cold. And I'm like, it's all right.
No, you're right. It's all right. You know what I'm saying?
We know
Just
the
wear your
potential
thick
of
coat.
this
Yeah.
weather.
Like it can
You know
get
what?
much worse. Like
All
now,
right, so-
it's cold. Like
Yeah,
I ain't
it's
got time.
cold.
What I have to say to y'all is what y'all are doing is putting y'all trying to force y'all perspective on me. Stop that.
He's a victim.
because what
Is
y'all
that not what you're doing?
No, we're just trying to make you understand
no.
what we see.
No, by I feel like if we just take
We're
a
not trying to
survey
make
of
you
the
accept
world,
it.
just of the world in general,
The world.
or of the country, we take a survey of the country, they gonna say the same thing that I said for all the temperatures. Like I
You
said,
only gonna give them
For
two
everybody
options though.
No.
Is it warm or just
no,
less cold?
I would give the full
Warm.
gambit. I would give the full gambit of all the things, because 32 is freezing, and after 32 it's cold in the bitch.
32
I mean,
is a
32
pretty
is
decent
technically
day.
freezing.
Like
My nigga, what?
no, 32.
I hate you.
32 is like
I'm not gonna lie about that.
32 is like all right.
It's
You know what I'm
not
saying?
decent.
I
And that's
can
it.
wear-
And
broken.
so we're in the
Y'all
negatives.
bodies are
No,
broken.
listen.
Oh,
We're in the
broken-ass
negatives right
niggas.
now. Wait till it hits like 36 degrees. Niggas gonna be walking around like it's
Like,
summer.
with their
Like,
North
it's gonna be
Face on.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? They sleeves
No
out.
hat. You know what?
Hey,
I bought
you
the
know what?
gloves out. I don't bring the
You know what?
gloves
Y'all
out.
Right. You can ball them up and put them in your
Hey,
pocket.
hey,
Fuck when I
you
got
know
on
what?
gloves.
Let me tell y'all something.
Like
Let me
this.
tell y'all something right
Shit,
now.
real.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm so mad.
Niggas driving with their motherfucking all four fingers together and shit.
You got mittens and shit.
Let me tell y'all
I'm out
something
here,
right
gotta
now.
pop the gloves off
Y'all
and
remember that
answer my
game where
phone.
people was just running up and hitting niggas in their mouth?
Uh-huh.
Let me see niggas in shorts and t-shirts in 32 degree
Spank they
weather.
leg.
They're going to see
Okay,
you.
and y'all go see me on the
Yeah.
Channel 8 News.
Yo, when it's 50 degrees
you gonna see
outside,
me.
yo, when it get
Everybody
50,
go see me.
Oh yeah, when
When
it
it
get to
get
50,
50,
it's
like,
over with.
they be
Y'all
at the
wear short
park.
sleeve
You know what I'm
shirts.
saying? With their
50's
badminton.
okay. I'm alright with that. I'm not tripping off at 50, but if it's 32, it's freezing,
Nah.
my nigga. Still, if you sit still long enough, you'll die.
Oh man.
But
That's not. If you can sit still long enough and die, it's not warm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you have that one.
you have a point. Yeah, all right.
I'll let
Yeah,
you
you're
have
right.
that
You do
one.
have a point on that
I
one.
don't know. None of us can last 20 minutes outside right now.
Nope.
No.
All right then. So it's not.
It's cold.
Warmer. It's cold in a bitch. I'm done with this. Y'all done got me all frustrated about the weather outside and shit. Fucking conscious reconstruction in the fucking blizzard. Motherfucker, y'all gonna tag y'all shit, outros and shit. Big dog.
Hey man, look, you know,
Fucking
conscious reconstruction,
Logic.
Instagram. Logical high.
Logical. High.
I'm gonna whisper it every time now.
Logic.
All right.
Will you come to my palace with me? Shea Quadro.
Gillette. Gillette stock go back up.
I don't know.
It was bound to happen. I feel.
Probably, but I don't follow their stock. Like that's not one of the ones that I own.
I had a topic.
Oh, what was your topic? You had a topic?
I did.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna end this on a light note. BuzzFeed News reported a guy created his own Pornhub channel and has been sharing hilariously wholesome and uplifting videos.
I saw that.
Some of Ryan Creamer's most popular uploads include I encourage you as you continue searching for the right video to come to. Nigga, that's amazing. There's another one. I deliver you a pizza and don't want to put my wiener in it.
Yeah.
I think that's really.
I don't even know.
I think I tuck you in after you have a cum.
That's what I bought it for. This is what it's worth right now. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I'm about to buy some.
This is a weed stock.
It'll be back up.
Oh, this is not Gillette.
Oh, what is that?
This is Crown. This is a weed stock.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to buy some right now.
This is a Canadian weed stock.
I'm about to buy some right now.
What happened? What is that?
Shout out to the positive porn.
So
Yeah.
this is how
The
much I bought it
positive.
for originally.
Mhm.
It's not really
This is what
porn.
it's worth right now.
Holy shit.
And so I've only had it for probably like this is the yearly view that I have, and it's just clearly been trending. Except for right here, this is a real scary time because you see it's worth way less than what I bought it for.
Oh, but it didn't do that.
But then it just. But that's because Marlboro invested in it, so I definitely suggest. Yeah.
I don't know why I keep
Big
videoing
dog
that. I'm sorry.
out.
Yeah, but we out
Big
here.
dog out.
Yeah, we
I'm
out.
sorry.
We just definitely had some adult talk on for you children. Fuck y'all.
Definitely with gloves on. Bye.